Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're at episode number 59. My name is Craig Perales, and joining me is the man on the other side of this Skype, Mandrew Montemayor.
Hello.
Yo, so guys, normally we do the show next to each other. Some strange circumstances happen. We're actually a day behind recording. We need to get it done. We don't have a lot of time, so we're going to try to make this episode as quick as possible. So we are doing the remote recording. I hate doing them because I don't think they ever come out looking or sounding right. But hey, in dire times, what are you gonna do?
Before everyone jumps on the bandwagon, it's not Craig's fault for once. It's actually mine. So,
Oh yeah, see, I get
me.
one a year. So with that being said, there is no beer recommendations. I didn't have time to go to the store and grab anything. I was digging, so I had two 18 packs the other night, and they're now completely gone. So I was digging around for something in my fridge, and all I found was a Mike's Hard Strawberry Lemonade and a Keystone Light. This is the only beer I have in the house.
Yeah, I have a Mike's Hard lemonade as well, and I have a Red's Apple Ale because I had some beer in my fridge called the Belching Beaver. It's like a golden ale that I've had for a little bit, and I think it went bad because that first drink tasted terrible, and then it was worse after that, so I threw them away because I have had them sitting there for a little bit.
Classic funny. So with that being said, we will get to it at the end as well. So I want you guys to know we are pushing the contest back a week. We wanted to do the contest like how we do it together. That way we can pull a name. We can have someone else recording it while we're doing it. That way there's no funny business on there. And since we are doing it this way now, we are pushing that back. So this will be one more week of adding your name, hashtag round 2. And then next week on episode 60, we will announce the winner to get the game of their choice on the system of their choice. So those are two off the top things we had to talk about. So with that being said, Andrew, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. So guys, the DC fandom just happened. That was on August 22nd. That was a big showcase, an all digital showcase that DC set up. Really one of the first ones that kind of set this version of what they did. It kind of was like the Comic-Con at home, only the Comic-Con at home really sucked, and the DC fandom was actually pretty good. You could watch.
I thought it was.
Yeah, you could watch panels you could do interviews. You got the new Batman trailer that came out, but we're gonna go over the two video game stuff. They had the Gotham Knights come out, and they have the Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. So Andrew, let's talk about the Gotham Knights. So this is an action role-playing game. There was actually two things that came out. One was the trailer, and then one was about 7 minutes of gameplay, which is actually really cool to watch. This is developed by WB Games Montreal, and the set release date is 2021. So the thing you got to keep in mind when looking at this is not part of the Arkham universe, Arkham Asylum, City, Night, but WB Montreal are the ones that made Arkham Origins, so they are familiar with the property. They know how to make a Batman game. I actually really like Origins, so I just want to make sure that before we dive into it, people know that this is not going to be attached to the Arkham universe that we're already familiar with the Batman. They're actually saying that the Suicide Squad game, when we start talking about that, that's going to be the one that's actually tied together with it.
And I was wondering too, because they said that, because Arkham Origins technically isn't part of the Arkhamverse either. I wonder if then these two then are connected. I don't think that they came out and said anything about that, but would be interesting.
Oh, the Arkham Origins would be connected with this one. I don't think so. I think they're trying to make a whole new universe with WB Montreal doing it. Which is perfectly fine. If they have one moving with the Arkham series and they have a new one setting up, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter to me. I mean, that's the good thing I think I like about that DC universe is you can kind of really pick up from like anywhere and like take it anywhere. And as long as you have like whatever your foundation is, which again, Batman being one of the strongest heroes, you can kind of take that from anywhere.
Yeah. So speaking of Batman, the story is revolving around a theoretically killed Batman. He's missing. The rumor is that he's been killed in the Batcave explosion. So in the case of that happening, he sent out the message to, we have Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hood saying, it's time to step up. Gotham needs its protectors. They've showed that Jim Gordon's actually deceased, which is Batgirl's father. So the storyline looks pretty cool. I kind of want to dive into the characters. They're saying that the Robin is going to be Tim Drake. Batgirl is going to be Barbara Gordon, but they're saying it's post-Oracle because they were even Easter egg showing that she had like the wheelchair. So she's been paralyzed by the Joker, and now she's somehow recovered, and now she's back to being Batgirl. We have Nightwing that's going to be our Dick Grayson. And then another reason why it stands out from the Arkham universe is this is a version of the Red Hood that's working with the Bat family and not an enemy opposed to where it was in Arkham Knight. How do you like that lineup?
I like it. I almost kind of wish that they had done Damien though, because I've never really cared for like Tim Drake or anything like that.
Tim Drake's the shit.
Nah, I don't really care for him. I think Batgirl's sick. Of course, Nightwing's always sick. But I think everyone from unanimously that I've seen most excited is to play either Batgirl or Red Hood. I'm more excited for Red Hood than anything because I love me some Red Hood.
Yeah, they were saying that Red Hood is going to be a non-lethal version, so it's you kind of raise an eyebrow when you see him and he's shooting the guns. But I mean,
bullets or something. I believe it.
Or even later on, like maybe electrical stun bullets that just kind of fuck people up because you can get around a gun being lethal and just rubber bullets or something along those lines. I'm thinking so before we get into the trailer, it already looks like it could be set up to be adding more players. If you could add more people down the lineup. I mean, I could see like Catgirl being a playable character down the line with some DLC, or even adding Damien eventually coming in and as the Robin.
Right, or like Batwing or something like that. Yeah, this one definitely does seem like it's set up for that possibility of, all right, okay, we'll just add more characters down the line, and then we'll integrate them versus what they did with the Arkham Knight, which is, okay, we're adding these characters, but you can only play them within the confines of the short 2 to 3 hour DLC or whatever.
Right. And it looks, so let's talk about the trailer. The trailer looks really cool, and then let's talk about the gameplay. So you're actually going to be playing for these characters, and from what Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, from what I was reading, it's either single player or it's co-op. I didn't see anything saying that you could do 4 players at once.
Either, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the game is going to be based on different characters having different dynamics, and you can play who you want to play, and then you can drop in. What I like though is that they're really kind of taking the RPG element of not only showing like the health bar and the numbers popping up for damage.
Right.
Saying you can actually, when you play it or with or without somebody else, you can approach it in different aspects. So you could either take on Mr. Freeze at level 5 or wait to level 15. But the other cool thing is that their enemies get to scale with you. So a lower version of attacking Freeze won't be doing certain more powerful moves and different techniques than you would be playing them at level 15, which already kind of lends itself to replayability. You can, I could be playing it and go one way. I do Freeze, Riddler, Joker, and then you could be playing it and Freeze could be last and be a completely different enemy, essentially.
Yeah, I think what they came out and said is they're not level gating something. So like something like the other Assassin's Creed did, or even something like The Division does, where I can't go into this area because this area is for like level 40 and up or whatever, that you should essentially be able to kind of go anywhere, and it's going to be easier or harder, not depending on how good you are and what you can do with these characters already. So I kind of like that idea a lot. That, and with the kind of scaling thing, it's almost kind of like Division-ish, and actually Division's the wrong thing. I can't really think of something else recently that I played that's done that, but I do like the idea of that because then it keeps it like fresh and not boring, because I do kind of hate towards the end, because I mean you could always run, but I hate fighting waves of like monotonous, like level 1, I'm gonna stop you, Batman, and it's just one hit, like God, like just get out of the way.
Yeah, please move. So the game looks very interesting. I love the concept of 4 playable characters that aren't just Batman. I'm curious to see where they're going to go, because the other thing that we've all been knowing that it's coming. They've been doing a lot of teasing on like Twitter and things like that with the symbols.
I'm so glad I don't have to see that anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the years of it going on. I think it was going on for like a year or two, which is, we know now it's going to be the Court of Owls, which is really this underground like secret society of the elite that kind of rule their world. And I'm curious what they're going to do, because Talon, or at least a version of Talon, looked really like kind of sinister looking.
Right. I'm very interested in what they're doing with the story, because they even showed off part of it too, and I wonder if his is just a subsect, or I feel like it's kind of got the right vibe though, to where I don't feel like anyone doing some of the stuff before and some of the older ones was really doing it, besides like Scarecrow or whatever the main villain's doing, was doing anything kind of like city altering. Like Penguin's just kind of just like stealing shit or whatever, not really affecting anyone, just kind of doing his own thing. Same with Two-Face. Whereas on this thing, it opens with that gameplay of you're trying to scale the tower to stop Mr. Freeze because he's taking a page out of Neil, or what's that dude's fucking name who directed the Batman movie with Schwarzenegger, where he's trying to freeze the city.
Is it Schumacher?
Yeah. So, oh yeah.
Joel
David,
Schumacher.
I don't know what I was thinking. Neil, David Schumacher. Either way, it's almost like a page out of that where he's gonna like end up freezing the city, and so you're climbing this tower to free
Yeah.
or to stop him. And I think that's pretty cool. And I'll tell you right now that I'm gonna return this game if they don't use the line everybody chill or freeze or whatever the fuck he says when he's freezing everybody when he breaks in. Or Gotham a chill is coming or whatever. Use some corny line from the movie. Gotta have it.
Oh yeah, we definitely that yeah. Because one thing when you play guys like against like a Two-Face or a Penguin is they're more just like turf control. Where Freeze always has like an overarching agenda, and with the Court of Owls, you know they're not just content with doing a thing; they want to run everything. So this is a really cool group to go to. And I mean, and outside of people that read the comics, I don't think most people. I don't think we've really had a movie or even like an animated show or movie that has really the Court of Owls in it. I know it's been touched on.
There's the one.
Yeah, a little bit. I was saying maybe like the one time, but like to the average person, this is gonna be brand new villains.
Court of Owls is, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it looks really cool. Is there anything else you want to talk about on it or dive into it? I mean, comes out in 2021, and from what we've seen, I mean, I'm really liking all of it. The gameplay looks quick and fast. I like that you can co-op with it. I like that there's going to be not only the Court of Owls main villains, but Mr. Freeze is, arguably one of the best villains Batman has.
I'm sure they'll probably end up bringing back Joker. They have to since it's a different timeline. He's alive, so that's not going to change anything. What I will say is I really like the art direction of this because I think it looks a lot different than the older games. Go out there and check out the gameplay. Like I don't think it's like it's still got the darkness to it, but it's not like as drab, and it's almost got that kind of neon overglow to it. And so I thought that was actually really cool too, especially like when they showed everyone's symbols, it does like the neon outline towards the person or whatever. I thought that was cool. And I guess kind of leading into the next one, I thought like looking at them, this seemed like the game that Rocksteady would be doing, and Rocksteady's game for me seems like what Warner Brothers would be kind of making. So yeah, I'm super excited for it. I'm excited for both.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have Avengers. Did you get a chance to play the beta test on Avengers yet at all?
No. Jim?
Okay, so it's weird. It's not weird. It's kind of cool that we have a game like that's coming out like that, and then we've got this now 4-person Bat team coming out for the Batman Gotham Knights, and then now we have the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League coming out, which is now a 4-person playable game or single player as by yourself. But I mean, you saw the trailer. I mean, is it? I know you had a thought on it. I know you said you were curious that there was no gameplay for it versus the overwhelming gameplay we got for Gotham Knights.
Right, because I think it's just been as long since we've seen Arkham Knight, so you figured maybe they would show like a little bit of something. I'm not mad at it. We got a very lengthy trailer. I will say whoever's designing this thing or coming out with some of the stuff is doing a great job because I thought everyone looked good. I love the way everyone looked, especially like King Shark, because I always think that that's someone who's like a buffoonishly like not weird character, but it's weird that like Killer Croc to me makes sense, but now you have Batman fighting like a great white fucking shark guy or something like that. But it fits and it's done well, and that's what I like is. With something like this, he fits within the realm of all the chaos and everything going on to where it's believable for me. But also, not even just that design, whoever designs like the logo, how they have like the suicide and the U is the C going the other way for the Suicide Squad or whatever. Like whoever it is that's just coming up with all this shit, I think kudos is doing a crazy good job.
Oh yeah, you gotta love the way they're starting that marketing. So Rocksteady Studios is doing the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This one's set to release in 2022, and I was curious of how they're actually going to connect it to the Arkham verse. But so I was looking up Harley Quinn. Tara Strong does her voice from the Arkham City games and stuff like that. She's doing the voice in this one too, so there is some rollover in that direction. It's hard to go like what can they really do, and how is this game gonna play? Because when you watch that trailer, a lot of people are saying it kind of looked like Sunset Overdrive. Really colorful, really bouncing around, doing this kind of, everyone's moving really fast, showing off all their abilities. Because the other thing they were saying is the gameplay is like, if you want to play it by yourself, the other people are still going to be in the game with you. It's it'll be AI controlling the bots, but 1 to 4 players, but there's going to be 4 players at all time that you can switch between. So I'm just curious of how that gameplay or what that gameplay is going to look at. I've been trying to think of like games that do similar things, and I can't really nail one.
Actually, what I just played it recently was Ghost Recon Wildlands. When I played that, so me and AJ would play it, and then it would just be me and him. Like I wouldn't have anybody else here. It wouldn't even do like the other two. But when he wasn't playing, it would drop in the other four people, and then I can just kind of control them or set them to be like passive, aggressive, defensive. You know, whatever. Take up a position here and wait here. Follow me. You can do all that shit or whatever. I thought that was perfectly fine. So if it's anything like that, obviously, but fit within this universe or whatever. I mean, what do you think with kind of the way that they even started that trailer as far as the stories going? Because you have like Brainiac already like coming in and like kind of attacking this, or it looks like it's his big ass ship and everything, attacking everything, and then it ends with, oh, here's Superman coming in to save the day, classic Superman, and then he just fucking melts that guy because he's obviously under some sort of control.
If that trailer is in the game and not just marketing for the game, then how is Superman just not wasting them all right then and there? Like, in what scenario do those four get away from Superman not just fucking icing them? Because, yeah, it is dark. I mean, because this game's going to show Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, and Captain Boomerang. Those are going to be the four playable characters. And you could put 10 versions of all of them on the same team. They're not taking Superman. So I'm just curious of how any of that works. I get them maybe taking on a Green Lantern. Flash would be hard to assume because we haven't seen anything of, because if this is in the Arkhamverse, we still don't really know what happens with Batman, because at the end of Arkham Knight is kind of a mystery. So maybe this is one of the things that trigger maybe Superman snapping, or maybe he's under the influence of like a Brainiac or something along those lines. But in what world do those particular four people take on Superman? I don't see it. I don't know how they would do it.
The most I can liken it to, and like kind of what I thought of almost, is, so since it looks like he's under control of something, because even his eyes are like a different color, would be that maybe because he's under control, I don't know if someone's directly doing whatever, would be the same way like when Captain Ginyu switches bodies with Goku, because it's something new and it's not a natural host, that it doesn't have full power yet because he hasn't been there long enough to learn how to do whatever. So Brainiac or some sort of thing or something's controlling him, they could stand it, which would make sense that they could stand a chance because this thing doesn't know how to take full control of Superman's abilities or whatever yet. So
I was thinking like you watched Young Justice, yeah?
Yeah.
When like even that version Joker and he's controlling everything and he can't or is it the magician guy? I remember somebody at the end is controlling the Justice League. And he's not winning because he's not doing what they would be doing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Doing as them.
Right, yeah. So something like that.
It's definitely I don't even look at it as like a cop out. That's comic books. That's what it's gotta come up with something, either zany or that makes sense on a technical level. But I mean, if that trailer is in the game, then how he's not just mopping them all up right then and there. I don't know. No, I like the way everyone was moving, because I like the way they showed Deadshot kind of flying around in the jetpack. They got Harley Quinn with now like this grappling hook, which is awesome. King Shark just kind of mega jumping. I don't remember Captain Boomerang ever being able to like just jet forward in that flashing kind of super speed that he was doing, or unless I missed something. But I'm like, because like, how's that character going to be catching up with all these guys? And it kind of shows them like darting from A to B, and I'm like, well, that's new. I think I haven't read a Captain Boomerang comic in a while, but.
Again, I mean, that's part of comics. Flash was just fast for the longest amount of time, and now he can, fucking rewind time and change the universe and, do whatever.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain what Captain Boomerang is doing, because I'm like, how's he catching up with a jetpack and a big fucking shark jumping?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's always just been like, what's the dude's name from Bullseye from like Daredevil? Just like has that aim and can do whatever. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, so this game is coming out in 2022, right? Well, I'll believe it when I see it nowadays. But one of the things that they are saying is they are not touching current gen. It's gonna be PC, it's gonna be Series X, and it's gonna be PS5. Good. So I kind of like that, because I think the Gotham Knights will be this gen and next gen. I kind of like that we have games moving forward that are now going to be specifically for the new hardware. So that was one thing that I kind of caught my eye, that I was like, okay, good. We don't need everything. Doesn't need to be on the old system. We need some reason to get games on the new stuff, because I want to see it at its fullest capability. I don't want to see scaled down versions. So I like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially by then too, 2021, 2022, especially by 2022. Like, I think that's just part of consoles. Get in or get left out. It just is what it is. Hopefully the pandemic and all that stuff's gonna be done, and we'll be moving in a more familiar schedule. So
Anything else you want to add on Gotham Knights or the Suicide Squad?
Either way, I'm excited for both. I think they look good. If you haven't seen it yourself, definitely get out there and check it out for sure.
All right, so guys, we're gonna skip riffs. We're not gonna get into what we're playing. We're just gonna do some fan questions because we do gotta keep this tight. We do got other things we have to get done tonight. So I do want to remind people, guys, that Gamescom is happening right now. They did the opening night the other day. I think they're on night 1. I forget how many days it's actually running. But if you guys are interested in more things to check out online, that's something to check out. It's got a lot of trailers coming out, so. I'll leave the link in the description of where you can at least find part 1 of that. So let's see. Yeah. So we'll get the video game questions of the week. And the first one comes from Tim Lazoya, and he says, would you guys ever do a game night video where Gino, Craig, and others, a lot of people are referencing Gino because he was on the last episode, so I think a few of these questions have his name in it, and others sit down and play a game, either console or physical game like Munchkin or DC Deck Builder, #round2. Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, we do it all the time. We always talk about it all the time. We just played DC the other day and actually played Munchkin for the first time. I think it was you, me, and Raymundo came over, and that was like a year ago, whatever. So, I mean, we're always about it. We always try to have our game days and stuff when we can. And even though we can play online, like I'll physically go sit at Craig's house for, all day, have my console there, he's doing whatever. Or even The Last of Us 2, I stayed at his house for 3 days so we could just sit there and beat it. So I'm always all for that.
So would you want to record us though playing DC Deck? Because the other thing is we just played DC Deck Builder recently. It's long if people are, I don't want to say stalling, but like I don't want to see a 3-hour video of us playing DC. Like I'd want it to be quick, fast, and competitive. So we'd have to kind of iron out the details, but I would do that. Other than that, in terms of like a video game night, I mean, we could essentially just stream it unless it's we do like a group video of us playing like passing the controller back on like Super Mario Brothers 3 or something like that.
Maybe we can try and do that thing. I don't know if we already missed it this year, like next year, or maybe hopefully. I don't know if you can even register, if anyone can register, where like you stream like 24 hours for like charity or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be way cool. Yeah, we should look into something like that because I know we are moving forward with doing a live show like on Twitch and Facebook and stuff like that. So yeah, once we start tapping into that, we'll start doing definitely a lot more videos like that. So next one comes from Melissa S. And she says, I love seeing both your faces. Again, from last week's episode with Gene. Felt like y'all talked about Greek mythology a lot. What got you guys into it? And do you guys have any tattoos of anything Greek mythology? I want to do a whole sleeve starting with Zeus and ending with Hades. So I think Gino missaid my gamer tag on the episode because he kind of said it fast. It was Zeus 98. Yeah, so I'm Zeus 928. Gino is Hades 928.
Zeus 98. Here's a piece of cheese.
And here's a piece of Denny's Aries 928. So we definitely got into it back when we were way little. My mom, when she was, she'd always read us books and get us Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia. But she started bringing us home like Greek mythology books and stuff like that. So we really got into looking at it. Dungeons and Dragons is another thing that kind of mirrors the Greek mythology stuff with, minotaurs and centaurs and things like that. A big thing was like, did you ever watch the Kevin Sorbo Hercules show back in the day? Like with Xena?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That was another show that we watched as kids that was awesome. So no tattoos with Greek anything, although I do have my gamer tag Zeus 928 on there. So I guess that might be kind of, but other than that, Andrew, are you into Greek mythology at all? Do you have any passion for it?
I love Greek mythology. I think it's like one of my favorite things. I think it's right up there with like Egyptian, like those two combined.
Like, Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, man. I love all that.
I think Norse is the most boring to me. I think the other two are kind of where it's at. But I think maybe what got everyone started probably would have to be Hercules, like the cartoon movie, the Disney movie. I always think it's like really cool, even though it's like childish or whatever. But growing up from there, I like that idea and that concept. I think where it kind of I didn't see that other show as much, and I'd seen like little bits of things here and there, but I think it really picked up for me in like high school when you actually start reading about that stuff and people like Persephone and all these crazy stories about
the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Yeah, all that different stuff. So I think that's where it really kind of picked up for me. It was like my freshman. I mean, I've always been into kind of stories like that, but that's where I really like started learning about it. And then from there, I mean, that was kind of at the point too where I had my own computer. So even now, all the time, like I'm always like I'm a huge Wikipedia person. Like I spend hours on there. A lot of time, if you see me on my phone, I'm not actually like reading news on Facebook or something. I'm usually on Wikipedia, just reading up about something. I like doing that. And so all the time I'll hear something, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll check out that story or whatever. I can't think of anything recently that I kind of watched that maybe alludes to stuff like that. I definitely don't have any tattoos, anything like that. I think that I like the idea of having all the different whatever. I think another big contributing factor would probably be God of War.
I was gonna say,
what a huge influence something like that was.
Yeah, God of War is the best thing. If you want to see some gritty Greek mythology, do God of War. But yeah, even that, I mean, even watch old things like Clash of the Titans and things like that. Or recently, what was the Mickey Rourke one, like the Invincible or Immortal or
Immortals? Yeah. Like, stuff like Immortals. Even I don't think it's like the best movie. I even like them like as long as is like the mythos. I even like the modern like Clash of the Titans or Wrath of the Titans and stuff like that because I don't feel like we get like too many movies that are like really like that as we should.
Yeah, and I read all the books too with like the Percy Jackson books where he's got dyslexia and you find out that that's a trait for being a demigod and things like that. So yeah, I mean, we could talk about Greek mythology all day, but let's move on. And I want to see that sleeve once you get it done because that is cool. Zeus being the top because he's the king of the gods in the sky. Hades being on the bottom, Lord of the Underworld. So that's pretty cool. Next question comes from.
If you do Hermes, do the cartoon Hermes. It's all like, yeah,
yeah, the glasses. Gone, baby. Let's see. Sheila T writes, "Oh my god, I put syrup on pizza. Everyone thinks it's crazy." Actually, I'm curious because I want. Okay, so last week we asked the question, or she asked the question, "What's the craziest thing you do, like with food?" Me and Gino both said syrup on pizza. I really was curious. Do you do anything that's trippy with food, like either the way you prepare it, the way you eat it, that anyone would raise an eyebrow at? You put ketchup on your salads?
No, I don't think I. The only thing I guess maybe I do that other people say is weird is like when I make mac and cheese, like even that like box one. I like it when it's like soupy, but I add like a shit ton of pepper to it, dude. Like I drown that shit in pepper. So like when I give Christina some, I have to give it to her before I put my pepper on it. And I think it's just because my mom does the same fucking thing with like top ramen, any sort of soup. Like I drown that bitch in pepper. Like
macaroni and pepper, huh?
Dude, there's got to be like a ton. Otherwise, I won't fucking eat it. I'm like, all right, well, this sucks.
Nice. So she goes on to say, okay, so how about travel? Where have you been and where do you want to go? I've been to a few places. It sucks. We were just starting to do more traveling and then, COVID hit. But, been to like Chicago, been to New York City, we just went to Kansas City for a friend's wedding. That was awesome. Been to Philadelphia. We're really close to California. So obviously a lot of places there and within Nevada and Arizona. I've been to Mexico a few times, like Rocky Point and Cabo and stuff like that. But I really, New York would be cool to go to again with a bunch of you guys. Like I would love to go to New York Comic Con. That'd be awesome. But I really want to go to like UK or like Ireland and just go hit some good like old school pubs and do like a week out there. That's kind of we actually were going to. We had it all planned out. I think we were supposed to do it for our birthday this year, and with everything going on, you really can't take a bunch of friends and jump on a plane and go. I mean, you can, but would it be worth it? Why not wait a year and do it then? Right. What about you? Where have you been? Where do you want to go?
Honestly, I haven't really been to many places. Only anywhere you can drive to: Mexico, California, Utah, all over fucking New Mexico that I had to go for work and hated it. So if you live in New Mexico, odds are I hate you. But I've never flown anywhere. I'm terrified of flying. I've never been on a plane, but even driving to like the airport gives me like crazy fucking anxiety. Like seeing a plane take off or anything like that gives me anxiety. So I mean, I do want to travel to these places like Hawaii, New York, fucking Seattle, Japan. There's all these places that look really cool and would be badass to go to. But I just got to work on my fear of flying first. So far, I haven't been anywhere cool.
Me and Gino had a school trip to Zion Canyon one time. If that's not too far of a drive, if you're ever down to do that, we should go check that out.
Yeah, I'd like to do something like that, or maybe what I really want to do this year and what we should do is like let's get like a cabin when it's snowing up in the Wallapies or something like
Oh, dude,
that,
I haven't had a good
and
wall
just
time.
spend like a weekend out there. Dude. I'm tired of like talking about that. I'm like, let's
Do
just
it.
go wild. Why not?
And now's the perfect time to do it. Get away from it all.
Maybe that's what we'll do for my fucking dirty 30 this year since we can't do anything else. I'm not gonna go to Vegas and
I'd
fucking
be
get COVID.
I'd be way down for that. So, and jump in the comments. Let us know where you've been, where you want, where you want to go, because obviously, traveling is a big part of experiencing life, and I think more people should do it. So if you haven't been to too many places, it's never too
I'm
late.
jealous of everyone who has, like I wish I could get over that fucking fear. Like it's like terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, we got to check out. There's guys that I know like Chris Aggie who's been to all 50 states. I've been to a few. I've got like Washington and Oregon, all that stuff under my belt. But like I haven't really been to I've never been to Texas. I'd like to go do something in Texas. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I really wanted to this year, and I was hoping I'd be able to try and get over my fear. But actually, what I really want to do was I'm a Patriots fan, and I wanted to go see a game in New England this year.
That'd be dope. That'd be sick.
Even without Tom Brady.
Next question comes from Auburn Stein, and he says, #round 2. I also beat Uncharted 1 and 4, but not 2 and 3. Great Craigs think alike. So, yeah, that's what I was saying last week.
Yeah, you skipped those other ones.
I still got it. I'll get to them, but let's see. If you guys could only watch one movie forever, what would it be? We already named off our favorite movies of all time, so I'm sure that would be in the conversation.
The same one?
Because I can watch that movie whenever, wherever. But so just to kind of go into answer it a different way, I'd probably pick a comedy, and I would probably pick something like either Grandma's Boy or like Wedding Crashers, because I can watch those movies anytime, any place.
If it wasn't Jurassic Park for me, I'd probably honestly go with like The Thing. Like The Thing, the 1980s remake with Kurt Russell. Like I know something.
Who does that? Carpenter?
Yeah, John Carpenter's The Thing. Like I absolutely love that movie. That's a movie I could watch like back to back to back to back, and it's a horror movie. Like I think it just has great concepts and like everything about it. And even still watching it, sometimes you might pick up like a little thing here or there, like maybe I didn't notice that before, and that's always kind of been the beauty of that. And that movie, the way it ends and everything is ambiguous. So even after I watch it, like it just, what is my opinion? How do I think that movie ended? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. So that's always been a movie that I could rewatch. I could watch that movie back to back.
See, I think I'd have to pick a comedy though, just so every year I could just laugh if I'm only watching it once a year. But
yeah, but I can only watch Jim Carrey go fucking like fucking 40 times before I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Hey, that's why I didn't pick Dumb and Dumber. So. Excellent question. Leave yours down below. Next one comes from Sammy G, and she says, "Great video, guys. What is your favorite cinematic video game trailer that got you hyped to play the game but struck out in actual gameplay? Also, what is your favorite movie and why?" We answered that last week. Jurassic Park for Andrew, Man from Earth for me. Mine is Tank Girl. Older film, but great. If you haven't seen it, I suggest it. #round 2. I have seen Tank Girl, and that is a movie. I mean, you really. It's an older movie, and I remember really liking it. I'd love to recheck it out. As far as gameplay go, or cinematic trailers go, what was I looking at? I think Crackdown kind of looked good from when you were watching the trailer, and that thing epically bombed. But what was the game? I'm trying to think of more recently. What was the game we were watching that Ron Perlman was doing the voice of? And it was this cool kind of Western. And we were like, started playing it, we're like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is all this game is? Because I remember thinking, oh, it looks really cool. And then we both played it. We played like the beta or something, and it just fell flat. What did you say it was called?
West of Dead or Dead of West. It's one of the two.
I would say probably recently that one stands out in my head.
If I had to go with something older, I would probably say Resident Evil 6. Like, I was super fucking hyped for that game. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, so the trailer's already over the top. It has me stoked, especially when it's kind of alluding to Wesker's got like a son, and you're going to be playing him and learning kind of about the family mystery, and him and Chris are going to come into conflicts, and then Leon and whoever's going to come into conflict. It's pretty much got every major character plus some new ones, and looked like it was going to be badass. And I remember getting that game, waiting in line with Robert Baxter at midnight to get it, and me and him beat that game front to back together. And me, because he's a huge Resident Evil fan too, and we were both just like, dude, this game fucking sucks. Like, there's cool parts to it, that game was the biggest fucking letdown. Even when I was going through and replaying it because it came out for the Xbox One with its own edition, replayed it with Christina, and this was coming off of like Resident Evil 5 and other co-op games we were playing that was fun. I was like, well, we can play this as a co-op game. Like most of the way through, it's like, it's like this game's just like boring. Like it's not like it's so repetitive and just fucking drab. There's over the top shit that just doesn't make sense. And the only way I could even see playing that game is with somebody else, because playing it by yourself is even more of a fucking drag with your brain dead fucking AI.
Nice. I love your attention to detail, man. So jump in there and let us know a game that let you down, Sammy G, because those are always fun stories to have. Second to last question comes from Jabstab, and he says, #round2 question: who took home the gold in your Hold'em game the other night? LOL. So yeah, I posted on Instagram.
I wasn't there.
Twitter, I think. Yeah, we got together and we played a good Texas Hold'em game. It was a $20 buy-in. I think there was like 7 or 8 of us playing. I haven't played in a while. It was a lot of fun, and maybe I took it a tad too far because one of our buddies, Matt, who's my old roommate that used to live with me, he was playing, and this guy thinks he's like the best poker player ever.
Oh my god!
And dude, so long story short, me and Renee and him all went in on, it was an all-in hand. We knock Matt out. He ends up losing because me and Renee had the same hand, so we split that. Knock him out. He rebuys back in. Second time we're playing, he goes all in. I knock him out. He buys back in a third time. I forget who knocked him out the third time, but he gets knocked out, dude. I was just rubbing his face in it all night. And I'm like, dude, you're so good. You should be a professional loser in poker. That's how good you are. But we got down to me and Chet as the last two, and it's Cheddar Bob, if any of you guys are familiar with him or watch him on Facebook Gaming. It was me and him, and I had the bigger stack, so we ended up just splitting it. I think it was like we did 60-40, and so we both walked away the winners, but I took home the highest pot per se. So I forget, you a poker guy? You play or do you dabble?
You're looking at the Buffalo Wild Wings winner. When they used to remember when we used to go to that. I still remember when we used to go to that. Like Buffalo Wild Wings used to hold like poker nights here. Yeah. And I sat there like all night one night, and I used like a fake name because I don't care. It was like Esteban Gutierrez, and I was just getting really drunk. And I remember I was like, dude, I just want to fucking go. Like my problem that I like poker. I just get fucking bored sitting there after a while. So even after a while, I wasn't even fucking looking at my hand. I was just like all in. So people were just getting fucking pissed and whatever. And I even made it to the end too because Gene, I was like, dude, I just want to go. Like, because you guys had all got knocked out. And he went next door to the bar. I was like, dude, I just want to go to the fucking bar. Like, let's go. I want to start taking shots. Like, I want to get weird. And I just kept getting drunker. He's like, no, if you leave, I won't forgive you. Like, you got to stay here for me. You got to do this for me. Because Gino's a diehard poker gambler. Yeah. And so I stayed there for him. And even at the end, I was like, all right. Like, as soon as I set my card in, I was like, all in. Like, I just want to fucking go. Like, I don't care. And I won on I'll never forget it, too. The dude tried to bluff, too. He's like, all right, all in. I'll fucking meet you. Blah, blah. So I was like, all right, whatever. And he didn't have shit, neither did I, but I won on the flop because the last card was a jack, and I had a jack in my hand. So I won with a pair of jacks. And I remember
the last card would be the river.
Oh, the river. Oh, sorry, not the flop. My bad. Yeah, again, shows what I fucking know. But I won with a jack, and then the guy called me a fucking cocksucker. And then I got up, and they're like, and our winner is Esteban Gutierrez. I was like looking around, I was like, who the fuck won? Did they have another game going on? Because I forgot I gave them a fake name. And they gave me a certificate for $20 at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Nice. So yeah, the next time we do a poker game, you got to come and bring those skills. Bring those all-in skills. So the last question comes from Dante Ricardo. What's that?
I'll be the first one out.
Hey, that's like that's called free money. The last one comes from Dante Ricardo. He says, question for you all. What is your favorite guilty pleasure movie? I.e. bad acting, low budget, etc. I don't think any of these are like bad movies, but I would probably say most people would argue that they are. I'm a diehard Three Ninjas fan. I'm a diehard Monster Squad fan. And I think Andrew and I would both agree that if you consider this to be a bad movie, Face Off is almost king of the crop on that list. So Three Ninjas, it was a movie I grew up with my brother. I actually have a Three Ninjas tattoo. He's got one. Raimundo's got the other one. It's these three brothers. All these ninjas. And they... dude, it's awesome. And they go through their shenanigans. Monster Squad is a perfect like Halloween movie. It's this combination of Okay, sorry guys. We got cut in something. Something froze on us, so we had to
Yeah,
restart.
sorry about that.
So we won't elaborate on it. Three Ninjas, Monster Squad, Face Off. Andrew, do you have a movie that is a guilty pleasure without diving into it?
I wouldn't call Face Off a guilty pleasure, but I love Tremors with Kevin Bacon and I
Tremors?
forget the other guy's name. Dude, I think that movie sucks, but I watched it as a kid and I love it as an adult for some reason. And not even just like Tremors is a series. Like I've seen all the shitty ones too, where they're like in the snow and whatever. There's some new one where they're on some crazy fucking island with them and they're like dinosaurs, just trying to be like Jurassic Park.
Nice. All right. Anything else you want to add on any topics we covered, or we're about done, right?
Yeah, not before it crashes. Make sure you guys, of course, subscribe to the channel and join that Facebook group because we're always in there constantly talking about games, movies, anything just kind of nerd related, anything you want to at all. There's everybody else in there to talk to besides us, so.
Yeah, so guys, make sure I want to restate that the contest on this episode, right in the comment section, hashtag round 2. The next week, when Andrew and I are finally back in the same room, we will do the live draw, or the drawing with both of us, and we will pick out the winner. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at LastCallPRODZ, Instagram at LastCallProductions, and then our Gmail, LastCallProductions at gmail.com. So that is it, guys. My name is Craig Perales, and that is Mandrew Montemayor. And until next time, cheers.
A digital goodbye.
Digital clunk.